Hey guys, so it's 1:33 a.m. and I've been having a real difficult time sleeping lately. I'm taking, new medicine about 3 weeks. I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks now on like a new mental health medication, and it's been going well. I have a few little, is it, what is it? Why am I up still? Why am I just up? So, I I did an ancestry DNA test. Let's see. I want to say like it's been a while. Like 2017 I got them done. Yeah. Um I was pregnant. Was I pregnant? I don't think I was pregnant. So 2018 is when I got them. Actually, I can check cuz I'm right here. I don't know if it's going to tell me, but let's see. Let's go to DNA. DNA story. Last you match acted by another test. Okay, so I think it's maybe DNA story will tell me like I have some messages too. Okay, so bottom line, got the test done this past year. Got the results back. Mine took a little longer than not than the time that they say because I think it's like 8 weeks. Mine came in like 6 weeks. Like so they had them for a while. Now my husband, he's like Polish, German, and a bunch of other European parts. Um, his came back in like 4 weeks. So we did ours the same day and mailed them off the same day. So I guess that also means that there's a lot more data on his than have, or they have to work a lot more to figure ours out because it's not, it's not always as popular for us to take tests. I think it's becoming popular, but either way. So for my mom as a gift because she's been wanting to, I've been literally waiting like 2 years till I could like afford to get it, to be honest, and then I got it like really cheap. So I'm like, okay, Jesus, here we go. And it was just like I I was that kid that like my name is African. It sounds Muslim, Amici Ibrahim. Um, I've had friends who are Egyptian with the same last name, so I know that like there's a connection. But apparently, my biological father was Nigerian, full blood, and lives in Abuja, and she gave me his name. Um, I don't even know if I'm comfortable saying it, but I mean, like, what am I doing these videos for? Like, this is my life. And, like, God is the one who sheds the light on things, and I don't care at this point. Like, if you're my father, come up here and show yourself, like, I want to get to know you. And it's not even like, okay, so it doesn't even matter because the name I give you right now, I'm gonna lead you through why I don't. I'm certain at this point. Okay, I'm 89% sure he's not my father, and my mother has been either lying to me or she has forgotten because of the body just coping to because it can't handle it being anything else, or she just doesn't know. My problem is there's been some lying going on, and the lying indicates that something's being covered up, and I feel it. I feel it in my bones. And so I was the kid who had trouble explaining what I was, what culture, where are you from? I got that all the time. Where are you from? Where are you from? Why's your hair so thick? Why are your eyes like that? Where are you from? Where are you from? Why's your name like that? Where are you from? And then I would just piece together what I could, um, Nigerian, my mother is French Creole Indian, um, Nubian descent because we can't even pinpoint where I'm from, and then it go through phases where I was like, oh, I'm Hispanic, which I'll show you, but I am, but it's not close up. Um, I'm 30 now, and I think 2 years ago I finally started really embracing that I'm Nigerian, that I'm African. And so to finally be set in all my ways of Jesus Christ and being so glad that I found him. I'm feeling a lot more dizzied by the fact that once I acknowledge it, it seems to be no more a thing. Like, I went from embracing Nigerian to not knowing if my father's actually Nigerian, not knowing if my father's the name my mother says she's decided was, and now the story is getting a little hairy and things are coming up and they're not making sense, and conversations are coming up with other relatives that are not clicking in, and I really want to be respectful about everybody involved. So I'm going to try to do this without naming names. But I feel like I'm cutting corners if I don't share this because this is a journey. And this might surprisingly be the thing that's keeping me up at night. It's not normal to have these type of events take place and then just kind of rest easy. Your mind is racing. There's stuff in the back of your head, your heart, and stuff that are being reformed and regoverned and taken care of. So I believe when I gave my life up for the Lord's life for me, He's making sure that I get everything I need, even the stuff I had no clue was happening. But He knew that I was having identity problems, and He's cleared up many of that, many a day with that question on my mind, like, do you know your identity? And I do. I am a servant of the Lord Jesus Almighty. I am a child of God, a child of Christ, of Jesus Christ. I am a mother of two beautiful, beautiful daughters, and a wife to a wonderful man who seems to love me more than he even knows what to do with. So this is the thing. When I got my results, it was very anticlimactic. I was confused because I've always been into genetics. I've always been into like the biology genetics table. And I also have a blood disorder called beta thalassemia. I do. I have a blood disorder called beta thalassemia minor trait. Now, this one is only indicative of the Mediterranean. So that's the Nubian, Morocco. Like, there's something there, okay? And if you look at, like, people from, like, Somali and Ethiopia, like, you'll see that they have, like, blood in the area of, like, Morocco. You'll see some of that sometimes distinctly in their DNA test. And their data is even, like, lesser prevalent than like mine. So I'm not saying that I am Somali or Ethiopian. I've been mistaken for I think Ethiopian before, but I let me say this. I don't think I am, and no one has told me. But I cover a large region, so I'll get to that in a second. I am picking at my face. This is like a nervous habit, I think. So, bottom line, I don't know who my father is. Apparently, my father's name was Abubakar Sadiq Ibrahim. My maiden name is Ibrahim. Um, I was born in the United States. My father apparently was born in Nigeria. And apparently, he went back to his country when I was 9 due to like child support and non support and just not getting anywhere with like visitation with me. And I understood that as a child I was required to make a decision that safety was more important, and my mother was the person that was safety for me. So I was never to allow him to ever steal or take me, or I'd be in danger if he got me out of the States or whatever. So I was raised to keep a distance from him and men out of fear. And I I don't know how to not believe in my mother because I've been taught to. However, I feel the Lord's tug on my heart being stronger than what she has for me because he made me who I am. He didn't make me for her to design my life out for me. And she's not a part of my life at all. Um, I've made that perfectly clear that like compassion is very important for me, and it's death, it's not life to speak of anything else. And that's what I believe is um, taking place at my parents' house. And I have my opinion, other people have theirs. I love them, but I'm very upset. So I'm going to keep it really short in regards to my feelings towards my parents, my mother, and my stepfather, because there's been a lot of harm taking place. Um, it's just been a lot of harm that's happened towards me, and I really can't give a crap, but I feel as though something has been hidden, and I do have the audacity to be inquisitive. I have the audacity to ask questions. I have the right to know whether I have a dad that is alive or dead, or seeking me, finding me, knowing what's up and changing his mind. I don't know. Or he's just completely unaware. So, to break it down, I got my results back. My father was born and raised in Nigeria. So, I thought it might have been my ignorance, but I got my test back and did not make sense to me. But if you see here, the highest percentage I have is Cameroon, Congo. Nigeria is not even my second, but my third. So I know, like, I'm still like 70 something percent African with a 4% Native American, because I come from the Louisiana Creole and African American migration. So that's totally indicative of my mother, and I think only my mother. So here is the issue. So the rest of them are 4% and less, but I have Middle East, which makes sense. That's the Mediterranean, see, Mediterranean coast. This makes sense because of my blood work. So that's Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Oman, Yemen, UAE, Lebanon, and Israel. So I could possibly have some Judish, Jewish blood in me, but it's not showing. Continue reading. It says it is home to some of the world's early civilizations. It's also the birthplace of three of the world's major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, with the most holy places of those faiths dotting the region from Jerusalem to Mecca. This vital region has been a natural center of learning, trade, and culture. So I thought there might be more, but there's not. But yeah, so that's a thing. Um, almost got off. So that would make sense. Like, that's not impossible for my Nigerian father to have. It's 2% though. It's really low for someone who's African and from Nigeria. So I'm like, okay, maybe people traveled all around here: Cameroon, Congo, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo. That maybe they just like hopped around, and people, got jiggy with it. And my father may have been born in Nigeria, but maybe he's a lot of Congo and Cameroon, because I have 22%. I just find it hard that my biological father, who was born and raised in Nigeria, I would have this low of a number. I don't see that making sense. Native American, that's the Creole, totally get that. My mom has 8%, this is 4, makes sense. I have the Spanish and Portuguese. I feel like my mother, that's her end. Great Britain, England, Scottish Wales, I have that. And it's just, I have every country except for dang Asia East, and I don't know if there's Asia South or whatever. So I cover Great Britain, Europe East, um, Europe South, um, Europe West, Liechtenstein, Middle East, like I told you, Scandinavia, which is really weird because I failed that. Like, I knew that that would be there for some reason. I don't know. But it's only 1%, but yeah. I feel like God literally gives us discernment when it's time to have it. So I can't explain to you why I know that my dad isn't who my mom said it is, but like I said, I'm like 89% sure, so I like it to be higher, and I think maybe that's just denial. Next one, Ireland, Scottish, and Wales. I'm less than 1%. Now you see that popped up, right? That says less than 1%. Now watch this. Europe, no, sorry. Europe West, no. Obviously, I don't know my continents well. Europe East, where is it? Great Britain, England, Scottish, and Wales. So I technically have Great Britain 3, and so I have like close to 4% Great Britain too. So I've got a lot of fours, okay? Then I've got this is crazy, like negative 1% Polynesian. I love Hawaiian food. I love poke. I love musubis, and I love like that shaved ice cream that they have there, and I love the North Shore. Haleiwa is the bomb, yeah. And I just love the sand there, and it feels like home. Um, I actually married a man who was very indicative of Polynesia or Hawaiian. Um, and I used to just play around and be like, yeah, Polynesian, but like not that I was, but just that I was in close proximity to it. And I always felt like it was really cool that I had people who came in my life who were from that area. So I hope you saw all that. Shit. Okay, so Cameroon, Congo, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Native American, sorry, Lord, Spanish, Spanish, Portuguese, Iberian Peninsula, Great Britain, which is Ireland, Scottish, and Wales, and then I also have Ireland, Scottish, and Wales here. See? So I technically have like close to 4, if not 4, for Great Britain. Europe East, Europe South, Europe West, Middle East, which I have Mediterranean trait, beta thalassemia minor, so that's totally it. So it could be coming from these countries, and I hope you can see that. And then I've got Scandinavia, which I was saying like is kind of weird. Like I discerned that one, like I felt it in my blood. Like I feel it even now, like when I say it. Then Polynesia, and this is where it gets weird for me because my mom is more of the mixed breed, the mutt, and my dad's supposed to be more of like that pure pedigreed, like from Africa, right? So the first thing is my father's born and raised in Nigeria, and it's not my first or my second, it's my third ethnicity group. And it's, maybe I'm ignorant, but maybe they all travel around because it's all in one country. Like if you look over here, look as I'm moving. But you see, like they could have done that. They could have totally bounced around like that, like and then stopped in Nigeria. However, it still doesn't really add up, I feel like. And so my mom took the test, and I'm going to show you why it really doesn't add up. So if you go down here, Polynesia, I do not understand. Like my mother, right, would definitely have to be the one with Polynesian. And I know it's such a small percentage, but it's on there. Tonga and Samoa. It doesn't make sense for me to have Polynesian if my father's from Nigeria, so it has to be mom, right? And then there's African Southeastern Bantu. So, and that is South Africa, Kenya, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola, Tanzania, Mozambique, Uganda. So, cool, right? I mean, I've got everything. And Louisiana Creole, African American migration, which, yeah, my mom is Louisiana Creole. My family on my mom's side, it just rolls deep everywhere. So, as you can see, what doesn't make sense is Polynesia and Nigeria being at 18%. Okay? So, naturally, you're like, okay, well, what's your mom's? And this is crazy. Like, her test has been done forever. And she sent me, like, a written form of it, but it didn't make any sense that she didn't just, like, show me the other one. So I ended up seeing her some other time. So this is my mom, and you see that she popped up because she's my mom. And so if you look at her, okay, here's her, how do they do this? The extremely high confidence, shared matches, you can see all the people that are also related to both of us. So that helps me figure out who is my relative and who isn't. Now, for some reason, I can't see her test, and I don't, but I can see over here her stuff. So, the top one that my mom is, she's like, I forgot what percentage she said hers was. Why isn't hers showing? So my mom, your DNA results show that you may be related, and comparing family trees the best way to find out exactly how. We've got a few tricks on our sleeve automatically showing surnames. You can ask this member to link family trees so that you can both take advantage. So my mom's family tree's up here. Like I said, I'm not talking to her right now, or period, right? Like there's something going on, but it looks like her test, I feel like she's kind of keeping it hidden. So that's weird. But I saw it on her iPad. So here's what I'm about to tell you. That is over here. I'm gonna read it to you. So you guys can pause it. I'm sorry if I moved it too fast. I'm just gonna hold it there. So I'm gonna read it to you because I can't see the percentages. My mom's not allowing, like, has hers up, which is so weird. Maybe I was supposed to connect them, but I didn't. And here's where we are. So my mom's test, right? And she has she has no Polynesian. She has she has no Polynesian, and her number one is Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, and then Nigeria. Cameroon, Congo, which is my top one, is like in her trace regions. So when I looked at it, apparently like she was like 50 something percent African, and then all the other places. So the only places that don't match me is Senegal, Mali, Asia South, and yeah, for her. So she's got three things I don't have, and then I have one thing she doesn't have. I have Polynesia. So these are trace again. So Senegal, Mali, Asia, South, those things were so trace most likely that they didn't make it to me. So that means that, like, maybe they could wash out because she's a generation above me. Okay? So I'm gonna do something because she sent me her DNA, I think via email too. And so I want to really look at this. There we go. No. So annoying. I just feel like something's being hidden from me, and I think it's driving me like to the point of like insanity and like literally like righteous judgment on like the earth, and why people don't know who they are because they don't take time for each other and talk about the real stuff, you know what I mean? Like this is big. This is really a problem that like people just kind of think they can hold on to information. And it explains why, like, we've had lying happen in our family so much. Even through me, I dealt with lying as a child. And it was like, I was worried why you were lying, and I just prayed for the Lord to take care of that, but I didn't understand where it came from. Well, things manifest because they're happening in the home, right? So is it really that strange that I was dealing with lying when you have been lying about my father? Yeah, I'm gonna stop with that. So I can't find it right now. I don't know why I can't. I'm gonna keep looking. Okay, so and I'm a little distracted right now, but I'm trying to get need info. Um, so yeah, so I'm not seeing anything. Okay, is this it? Nope, that's where I paid for it. Grr. Yeah, I got hers done beginning of the year. So I got mine done in 2017, and then I sent hers out January or December 2017, and then January 2018. Um, so yeah, I don't see anything because she wrote it on a piece of paper in the mail, which is I mean my mom reads mail, so okay, but yeah. So anywho, it all makes sense. And if my mom doesn't have the Polynesian and she is my direct relative, then if I have less than 1%, my mom should at least have less than 1%, I feel like, or we both should have none if my father's from Nigeria. Now, if my father's from Nigeria, I don't understand how he'd have Polynesian in his blood. I don't get that. And my mom has Mediterranean, like Middle East. She's got all the other ones I've got. Um, the only one that literally, well, we've got three, like I said, on hers that don't go with mine, but I have one that doesn't go with hers. So for me, that's a huge indicator of something's wrong with my DNA in relation to my mother. So I started looking at my, like my list of people, and there were some, like, I have a lot of like first and second cousins. First cousins come up, and the interesting thing is like when you click on their name, you can do shared matches and it'll show you who connects to this person. So then you can kind of rule those people out as being from your father or your mother's side. Okay, so this is as far as I've gotten. If you guys have any help, that'd be great because like I don't know where else to go. So I just went through the list and just kind of like caught a glimpse of like just the future of DNA and what it looks like to be a part of it. So I'm going through, like I said, this is like, I feel like the Lord trained me for something like this. And so, and I remember when I was in the middle, literally born in 1988. She was 26 at the time, I'd say, because we were the same age. And, or 25, 24. And I was in Japan working in the office, and she came by with a private investigator, and they were trying to find information on her biological father because she never met him, and she wanted to meet him, and she felt like something was missing, and she couldn't even speak English well. And the guy, I did what I could without, like, I didn't do what I couldn't do. And it was just really sad, and I feel like I felt something much more deeper for it than I should have, and so I let it go. But now I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. So I'm going through, right? There's a few people who do not match up with my parents, and so one of them, her name is, she is my, okay, she's my fourth cousin, and her name is Mary Taylor. She does not have any matches. Wait. Yes, she does. She matches. Sorry. We found that out because I thought she was like not affiliated. So there's a few that don't match, but I didn't write them down because I was just going willy-nilly, but I did send out messages. So let me do that. Okay, so I have this woman. Her name was Che Mason. Um, I'm sorry, I should not be saying names up here. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so there was a person. I don't even know if I could post this. So there's a person, and I sent a bunch of messages out to the people that I found. that had no relation to my mother's side. So one of them was, um, we'll call him Mr. L. But he's a fifth to eighth cousin, moderate. But when you look up view match, it says that, hold on, shared matches. Shared matches. We have no shared matches, and it'll show you under shared matches when you click on their profile. So Mr. L, okay, and I have two messages from him. And I think I sent something like, I'm looking for my father. Are we related? Um, so he sent me a message back. What is your father's name? And I said, I don't know. My mother's lied about whom he is. Do any places look familiar? Because I gave him a list of like locations and years and schools and things like that. So now he's asking what my mother's name is. So I'm writing him back now. It's crazy. This is like live because I didn't